Most people believe that they will feel wealthy once the money arrives. They believe the bank account changes first and then the feeling follows. And they think once they hit a certain income level, once the business takes off, once the clients start flowing in, that's when the feeling of wealth will finally appear. But every great teacher of faith taught the exact opposite. Jesus said, believe you receive and you shall have. Neville Goddard said that feeling is the secret. And when you really understand what that means, you begin to realize something that changes everything about the way that you approach money. Because wealth does not produce the feeling of wealth. The feeling of wealth is what produces the wealth. Now, there's a powerful line from a book called God Works Through Faith by Dr. Robert Russell that explains this beautifully. He writes that possession follows the feeling that you already possess the thing desired. And that feeling becomes stronger when you express gratitude for the possession. So, in other words, the feeling comes first and then the possession follows. Now, years ago, when I first became a consultant for Bob Proctor's company, I made a decision about who I was going to become. And I wasn't interested in just being another consultant learning the material. My goal was to become one of the best performing consultants the Proctor Gallagher Institute had ever seen. Now, when I made that decision, my outside world didn't reflect that identity yet. I was still learning the material. I was still figuring things out. I was still building the business. But I understood something that most people miss. If I was going to become that person in my outer world, I first had to become that person within. So, in other words, I had to feel like one of Bob Proctor's top consultants before the results showed up. Not after, but before. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves when it comes to money. They're trying to become wealthy while inside they're feeling lack. They're trying to build financial success while their inner conversations are still coming from the place of feeling like not having enough. So they look at their bank account and then they feel worried. They look at their business and they feel uncertain. They look at their circumstances and they feel pressure. And those feelings, whether people realize it or not, are constantly communicating instructions to their subconscious mind. Look, your subconscious mind does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you feel to be true. And your subconscious mind is connected to something that's far greater than your conscious intellect. It's connected to infinite intelligence, that deeper part of you that responds to the emotionalized thoughts that you hold most consistently, which is why Neville Goddard said that feeling is the secret. The feeling is what impresses the subconscious mind. And whatever is impressed upon the subconscious mind, it must eventually move into form. And this is what Robert Russell was pointing to when he said that possession follows the feeling that you already possess the thing that you want. So think about that carefully. Possession follows the feeling, not the other way around. The feeling is the cause and the possession is the effect. Yet most people reverse that order. They believe possession will create the feeling, and when you reverse the order of cause and effect, you end up chasing the result that always feels out of reach. Now, Robert Russell goes even deeper when he explains that the feeling will become stronger when you express gratitude for the possession. So, in other words, gratitude before the result appears is one of the most powerful signals that you can send to your subconscious mind because gratitude implies something that's very important. Okay, you cannot feel genuine gratitude for something that you believe that you do not have. Gratitude assumes the possession is already yours, that it's already real. And that's why he writes that when someone is grateful for something that they have not yet seen, touched, or experienced, but they are grateful because they are convinced that it already exists, their gratitude will hasten its arrival. So think about the power of that idea. Gratitude does not come after the manifestation. Gratitude accelerates the manifestation because gratitude strengthens the feeling that the thing already exists. So when we apply this to wealth, the question becomes simple but incredibly confronting. Do you feel wealthy now, or are you waiting for money to arrive before allowing yourself to feel wealthy? Because if the feeling of wealth only appears when money shows up, then wealth will always remain conditional in your mind. And when wealth is conditional in your consciousness, it cannot become permanent in your life. But I'm telling you right now, when the feeling of wealth becomes natural within you first, when gratitude for prosperity becomes a daily emotional state, and when you begin thinking and feeling as someone who already lives in abundance, someone who already lives in prosperity, something fascinating begins to happen. Okay, that's when opportunities begin appearing that were invisible before. That's when ideas start forming that you'd not considered before. Conversations start leading to unexpected results. And gradually, the outside world begins organizing itself around the identity that you have accepted internally. And this is a lot different from positive thinking. This is the way that consciousness works. Pay attention to this, it's so important. The outside world is always reflecting the dominant emotional identity that you carry within you. So if you're listening to this and you feel 100% confident that you can embody this wealth consciousness on your own, then I genuinely wish you the very best. And I just hope that this message helps you step into that version of yourself. But if you're honest with yourself and you feel like something keeps pulling you back into the same thinking patterns, the same emotional state, and the same financial results, then it might be time to get some guidance, okay? Because most people cannot see the subconscious blind spots that are quietly controlling their decisions, their income, and ultimately their results. So, if you would like help identifying those blind spots and start understanding exactly how to move from where you are to where you truly want to be financially, then you can go and book a one-to-one call with me by using the link in the description. On that call, we will look into where you are, where you want to go, and the shifts that need to happen internally for your outer results to begin changing as well.